My edge is running the football inside the tackle, and when somebody tries to take that away from me for what it is, that's who I am. That's me, and that's gonna forever be my edge in this league. I look at the game different, and that makes defenses prepare for extra things. So when you take that away, then the defense is like, yes, we don't have to get prepared for a quarterback. So I'm trying to find any and every way to create edges for us, and whether that's me running around, or is that me, carrying out my fake, or is that me blocking? It doesn't matter. I'm just trying to win football games.
That's Cam Newton saying he's not going to change his style of play because his run game gives him an edge. Darren Woodson in the house. How are we doing?
I'm doing good. As a matter of fact, listen, that green drink that you had, that's pretty good.
Thank you, man. I told you. I told you.
I took a little sip in the back there. Man. I just want to let you know that, man. So.
Sharing is caring.
I'm just trying to be honest.
He's lying. He's lying because he know I'll be ready to fight. I'll be ready to fight.
You can't drink.
No. He knows. Come on now.
That's a violation.
That's a violation. He would. He's a Dallas Cowboy. He would try to do something like that to me.
I'm just playing, man.
Darren, what do you think of what Cam said? Do you agree with him that he shouldn't stop running?
At the moment, yes, I agree with what he's saying right now. I think that when he said forever, I mean, listen, Father Time has never lost. And at some point, he's going to have to change the way he plays this game, especially when he gets in his 30s. And I'm looking at Cam's from the day he came into where he was last year and today. Last year, he threw 35 touchdown passes from the pocket. So he's throwing the ball, and he's changed his game in certain aspects. But forever, that's not going to happen. At some point with age and after through attrition, through all the times of being hit, at some point his body's not going to be able to take the punishment that he's taking right now, and he's going to have to become more of a pocket passer and sit in there and not take those shots. Now listen, do I want to win games? So I'm the Carolina Panthers. Do I want to win games week in and week out? Absolutely. Is the strength of this offense built around Cam Newton and him running the ball in between the tackles with the read option? Absolutely. So I want to continue to win games through this right now as he can keep this physical pounding up. But in the end, yes, he's going to have to change the way he plays this game.
The answer is Cam is absolutely right. Cam is correct about this. To me, there's no argument here. He is correct.
Yeah.
Now, that said, this is the age-old thing with running quarterbacks. If the first down is right there, why wouldn't you take it?
Right.
But if the first down is going to be right there for you a lot with your legs, then you're not going to develop in the pocket like you need to long-term. That's an issue of your short-term incentives kind of having a negative influence on your long-term incentives. Mm-hmm. So I understand that. But in Cam's case, he's saying, look, I shouldn't do stupid stuff like not protect myself running in on a two-point conversion. He's right about that. But this applies to Aaron Rodgers and Andrew Luck and Russell Wilson and maybe especially Cam Newton, who probably has more talent than anybody. To be hoodwinked into not using part of your talent is absurd. It's ludicrous. Why would, now, show good judgment as when you apply it? Yes. But if you're a carpenter, your main tool is a saw. You need your saw a lot. But sometimes you might need your chisel. And if people are telling you, no, don't use the chisel, clean out the edge with your saw because you're going to always need your saw. Don't be over-reliant on your chisel so that when you go into your toolbox and you have every tool you need, you use the wrong one. That's ridiculous. All he's saying is, my chisel game is ridiculous. And sometimes I need it, and when I do, I'm going to use it. That's uncontroversial.
I agree.
You're wrong, and so are you. But what's the surprise? Here's the deal. Cam Newton, we're not talking about Cam Newton as it just pertains to, oh, I have this ability, let me utilize it. You have to have a macro perspective when you're Cam Newton. It can't be just about winning in the moment. At that particular moment, yes, in terms of, okay, this particular play, the game is on the line. Sure, you do what's necessary. But you don't walk into a game with 60 minutes to play saying, I'm going to disregard my body. I'm just going to go out there and play, and I'm going to do what I know how to do because you're Cam. Now, if you're just a running back, you're Jonathan Stewart, who's very talented. When you're healthy, you're just a running back, fine. You're somebody in the secondary, yeah, all right, that's fine. But when you are the franchise quarterback and they gave you that $60 million and you know what you mean to this team, you have to think along those macro lines. Why? Because if you go down, everything falls. The dominoes just all collapse. And what I'm saying about Cam Newton is this. He's thrown 8 touchdowns. He's thrown 6 interceptions. He's been sacked 15 times. He's got a QBR of 56. We know all this of these numbers. From an offensive perspective, they're the 5th-ranked offense, 4th in yards allowed, like 7th or 8th in yards rushing and passing. He's had to do so much. The problem is with this defense, David Gettleman, the GM, should be ashamed of himself for losing out on Josh Norman when you know all you had were rookies to replace him. That's insane. It's criminal to do that. But let's think about how violent the sport of football is, and let's think about the runs that we're talking about. We're not talking about Cam Newton stepping one back and then running in between the tackles, trying to get a yard here or there. We're talking about him scrambling wide. We're talking about dudes seeing Cam 6'5", 250 and going like this.
Shots.
Damn, I need to hit him low because I can't hit him high because he's so big and he's so strong. This is not going to work for us. So now we're saying we're not talking about this dude standing in a pocket and getting his chest caved in or something like that. We understand that. That comes with the territory. But when you run it wide, you know, scrambles and all of that, and these guys are attacking your legs at every turn, that's entirely different because that's far more dangerous. Correct me if I'm wrong, because you played, I did it.
Absolutely.
Tell me, is that is the most dangerous predicament for? So when I talk about him running, I'm not talking about him getting the snap and then running in between tackles. I'm not talking about him looking and then, okay, I'm going to scramble here. I'm talking about those set plays where they got him scrambling wide and guys are diving at his knees and diving at his lower left, his lower extremities. That's my concern with Cam Newton, and that's what makes it dangerous.
So you're saying to change he needs to change that part of his game
That part of it. I'm talking about particular kinds of runs. I'm like, you don't need to be doing that.
Read options.
I don't want you to go to RG3 or prima donna like, oh no, don't do this and that. But I'm saying there's certain things that could be taken out of the equation.
This is my issue with Cam Newton. There's times where Cam is going to, as competitive as he is, he understands that he has that game that he can throw the ball, he can run out of the pocket, and he can punish you in the running game.
Okay.
The mindset of trying to punish defenders has to change. That has to absolutely change. The showboating at the goal line.
Don't look for contact.
Don't look for contact. If it's there, you know it's there. There's 2 guys, 3 guys surrounding you. Just dive down, get it. Just get the first down and move on about your business. Cam in the past has been extremely competitive. He wants to impose his will upon you as a defender, and that's what has to change in his game. But I'm not saying Cam needs to change next week. I'm saying he needs to change in the next 3-4 years. But right now, man, these guys are trying to win games. And what made them 15-1 last year was his dominance as far as his legs, his physicality, because you have, as a defensive coordinator, you have to prepare for all that.
He had all his weapons available to him. That hasn't been the case this year. We don't even know what the hell has happened to Kelvin Benjamin. He might as well want to get hurt. He might as well go back and get hurt. He was actually more valuable to the team when he was hurt than he's been on the field this year, which makes no sense to me because Kelvin Benjamin could play. I don't know what the hell's been wrong with him. Sure, go ahead. I'm listening.
It's almost like saying, hey, Shaq, in your prime, don't bang down low. That'll wear on you after a while.
I don't see
hey,
that.
Sandy Koufax, don't take the ball every 4 days and throw the fastball. Your arm will fall off.
Analogy.
My point is some players don't have long careers because of their style of play, but the quality of their prime makes them among the greatest ever. And maybe Cam Newton, partly because they don't enforce the rules with him the way they do other players, which is why he's been hit hundreds of times more than the next guy, than anyone. Like, who's got hit more than Cam?
Let me go to your
Not
Shaq.
even Andrew Luck.
Let me go to your Shaq analogy, because let me tell you why you're so wrong about that. Yes, they hacked Shaq. Bless you. Get that man.
Thanks. I'm good. I'm good.
Here's why your Shaq analogy doesn't work. Shaq was usually inflicting pain. Drop, step, elbow. I mean, this was a given. He was the diesel. Cam is absorbing it.
Right. Wait, that's my
When he first came in the league, he was not absorbing
about this year.
But even if he's giving licks, he's still taking them. I get it. But that's my point. If they're not enforcing the rules for Cam, the reason I use the Shaq analogy is because they used to foul Shaq on every possession. And basically the answer was, well, what are you going to do with Shaq? You can't stop him any other way. And I get the feeling like the NFL has the same rules with Cam. Hit him however you want because he's too big to stop otherwise. That's not Cam's fault that they won't enforce the rules.
But again, it's not about blaming Cam. It's like going back to your Shaq analogy. Wrapping your arms around him and making him go shoot free throws because he's going to miss one of every 2 is entirely different than taking shots at dudes' knees and ankles and calves areas and what have you. Cam is in a situation where he's so valuable to the team to just think about I'm just going to do me with no regard for that, I believe is ill-advised.
She can't keep running or not.
Absolutely.
Run, run.
This is, I guess when I'm looking at the situation, I understand what you're saying. Protect yourself, protect your knees, and there's times that he needs to slide. But what's made him so special is that he's the ability to run between those tackles, to bring punishment.
But I didn't say don't run between the tackles.
Yeah,
Remember, I specifically talked about running wide.
Even running outside wide.
That's dangerous,
that
man.
Threat and have the game plan for that. And knowing that this guy can throw from the pocket and, oh, yeah, he'll take off and run you over. I mean, that's hard to game for, and that's the edge that he's always brought.
All right.
Appreciate your perspective. Always good to see you. You got to go. You have things to do. They're telling me.
Some of us have to work.
Yes, yes.
Just have fun all day.
Thank
Well,
you
it's
for
nice
being
to see
with us.
You too.
Which work once every
Coming
2
up
weeks.
next.
First Take is presented by Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here. And in part by Taco Bell's Rolled Chicken Tacos.
All right, people, the First Take, Your Take viewer contest is here. It's your chance to debate Stephen A. and Max right here on national television. All you got to do is go to firsttakeyourtake.com, upload a 1-minute video with your and only your best original sports debate. Keep it clean, plus no music, team logos, trademarks, or copyrighted material. 2 winners will be selected by our show staff, so get to work and take on these 2 lovely gentlemen here in Bristol, CT. Here's a few of our latest submissions.
Dallas, not only is Dallas going to win the NFC East, they're going right through the Super Bowl. Minnesota doesn't scare us. Green Bay doesn't scare us. Atlanta definitely doesn't scare us.
See, there's a saying that goes, in order to be the best, you have to beat the best, which is exactly what you two, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Seattle Seahawks will have to do. Say it with me. Number 1 in rushing in total QBR, and number 3 in total offense.
Tony Romo is the better quarterback when healthy. Last time Tony Romo was healthy, with this offensive line, with a rushing attack, just like the one they have now, he went 12-4, and he should have gone to the NFC Championship game because that was a catch.
Is it just me, or do the women bring it the most? In terms of intensity,
there's
right?
been a couple of good dudes, but the women have been showing up and showing out. They have been doing their thing.
Well, she takes the cake.
Ladies.
She does take the cake.
I mean, maybe it's the New Yorker in me, but when you talk with your hands,
Yes.
that just takes it to another level.
Yeah, but she was substantive, too. But she has competition.
Sure.
There's several other ladies that I saw that I've been very, very impressed with in terms of their delivery, I must confess.
You got to have the content and the delivery. You got to have
Okay.
both.
All right, we'll see.
The whole package.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yes. Keep them coming. Keep them
Got to
coming.
win.
We asked you guys early in the show, who would you rather have as your franchise quarterback, Dak Prescott or Carson Wentz? The results are in, and 60% said they'd go with that 4th rounder.
Proving my point.
What?
Because there are the split between Cowboys fans and Eagles fans, which is what these polls turn into, is way more than 60-40 pro-Cowboys. Cowboys are a national brand in a way the Eagles are not. So for Dak, with the strong argument he has in his favor, though not as strong as Wentz, to get only 60% of the vote proves, in fact, that Wentz is the better choice.
Well, what I would say to you is this. You can sit up there and say Wentz is the better choice. I understand the offensive line, the running game of the Dallas Cowboys, but I think there's a lot to be said and taken into consideration about the circus-type atmosphere that somebody is walking into when becoming a Dallas Cowboys. The billion-dollar playpen, the Dallas Cowboy fan base that's worldwide.
You're going to be there.
The organization. Et cetera, et cetera. You got all of this going on, and now the latest backdrop. It ain't weed. It ain't dudes that can't stay off the weed. It's not something else that's happened. It's Tony Romo getting hurt with another back injury and then coming back, but they're not talking to Dak and they're not letting him know his status. You know, they won't hand the job to him even though he's earned it. And Tony Romo is making headlines because he's thrown a couple of passes in practice, for crying out loud.
Dak is excellent, but how hard is this?
Come on.
Here, Zeke, take this.
Come on.
And have those 5 guys make sure that no one comes near touching you.
My edge is running the football inside the tackle, and when somebody tries to take that away from me for what it is, that's who I am. That's me, and that's gonna forever be my edge in this league. I look at the game different, and that makes defenses prepare for an extra thing. So when you take that away, then the defense is like, yes, we don't have to get prepared for a quarterback. So I'm trying to find any and every way to create edges for us. whether that's me running around, or is that me, carrying out my fake, or is that me blocking? It doesn't matter. I'm just trying to win football games.